What is up, guys? Archons, and I'm here doing this video for the second time because I forgot to set my audio to record because I'm very, very good at this. Anyway, we're looking at the Aftermarket patch notes. With this patch, we are going to be getting the crossplay beta, which means that Apex is now crossplay. So that means if you're playing on Xbox, you can play with your friends on the other consoles, PlayStation, whatever, vice versa, PC, it's all there. Not sure how this game handles detecting whether or not somebody's playing on controller versus mouse and keyboard for PC. That I'm not sure of. So if anybody down below has any idea on that, I don't think it says anything in here about how it works with PC. But if you guys know, let me know down below. Anyway, what's also coming is Flashpoint for a limited time mode. As you can see here, there's these domes. There is no healing items on the ground. Instead, you use these domes in order to heal yourself. I kind of wonder what they're testing, because usually with the limited time modes, they tend to test different things. So I'm curious if that means that the next legend we get is going to have some type of bubble healing or dome healing. I think that that'd be a very interesting concept. I know Watson already does regenerate shields with her ultimate, but it'd be interesting to see. So go ahead and try Flashpoint. The collection event, more cosmetic stuff. Me personally, I don't keep up with the cosmetics. You have different gun skins here that looks like a hemlock. Bangalore. New heirloom for Caustic, his death hammer. So we have, I think almost all the characters have their heirlooms now, I believe. I think there's only like a few that don't. As for the meta, we're looking at Rampart increasing the rate at which Sheila's bullet spread tightens. So that means that the machine gun that she pulls out, it tightens the spread a lot faster than what it did before. So that means you should be on point a bit quicker than what you are now, or what you were already. Bloodhound, updated Bloodhound's tactical cooldown while ultimate is active from 6 seconds to 8. The reason they're doing this is because good Bloodhounds are constantly scanning enemies inside of his ultimate, so that means that if there's anybody in the area, they're constantly being pinged. This should give a couple seconds of downtime, so if you need to get away from Bloodhound, you can actually get away from him and him not be able to track you. Like pop a shield battery or something after you get scanned. You should fall off the radar for at least a couple seconds before he can scan you again. Pathfinder, Grapple cooldown is now based on the distance Pathfinder traveled. The shortest possible pull has a 10-second CD. The maximum cooldown is still 35 seconds, but you're going to have to swing a very long distance to get there. This one I'm going to show you. Sorry guys, it's late. It's 10 o'clock. I'm tired. But anyway, there's going to be a slight delay with the audio here, because I don't have the Elgato actually attuned to my audio. Otherwise, it'd make the rest of the information be out of sync. So here we go. As you can see, the timer is ticking, and I ended up with a 21-second cooldown for using the grapple there. That obviously changes based on the distance you grapple and how far you grapple from, so do keep that in mind when you use the ability. You can actually keep it at 10 seconds and still fling yourself a decent distance, which I will showcase as soon as the ability comes off cooldown here. So as for where Pathfinder sits in the meta now, I think he's going to be a lot more interesting. So typically in a gunfight, you're probably just going to do something like this and then just let go immediately, just to fling yourself behind the enemy, or, you know, that was a pretty bad fling, but you use it to fling yourself behind the enemy. They try to look for you and, you know, you drop down on them and finish them off. So if you're going to use it in combat, it's still going to be really, really strong. If you're just using it to fling yourself, you're going to have the 35-second cooldown to get to a roof. You're probably looking at about 20-something seconds, honestly. It's going to be very rare that you end up with the full 35 for climbing to a roof. So like I said, this is the second video. I'm getting preemptively ready to showcase something else. Anyway, they said that pros, this is going to be pretty good for pros, and it's going to be good for bad Pathfinder players who no longer have to worry about accidentally, you know, hooking the wall at point blank. Now it'll go on a 10-second cooldown instead of the 35-second it was before. Like I said, I think it's going to be really strong in team fights. It's going to still be a really good cooldown. It's probably going to be less than what it was before at 15. It's going to be insane, trust me. Updated Wraith. So her sprint animation has been changed. And this is because when she would run, it was like her head was going down inside of her body. So you couldn't get a clean headshot at her when she was running. It also basically made her already small hitbox even smaller. To compare it to another character from a different game, it kind of reminds me of Ana a little bit. Ana in Overwatch is like one of the hardest characters to headshot because when she's moving, her head actually hunches down. You can't ever get a clean headshot on her unless she's like running straight at you. So I think Wraith is kind of the same way in this game. They've already said they don't want to nerf her or Pathfinder's abilities again because they think that if they do, they won't be viable. Honestly, I think what they should do is they should just adjust Wraith's hitbox and get it over with. I know people would complain about it, but at the same time, that's about the only way you're going to take power out of Wraith to actually impact her play rate. She's just insanely good. She has a getaway tool that prevents you from, dealing damage to her. She can actually now see you inside the getaway tool, which she couldn't before. I know you can see the blue trail, but it's still, you can juke people with the blue trail. You can mislead them by running back over top of your blue trail and confusing them. Her portal ultimate is just amazing utility for her team because she can get them from one point to a different point, especially if she has her L1. She can pretty much go halfway across the map with it. It's not halfway, but it's a decent distance. You guys will actually see that in the next video that I'm going to upload, where I put up an 11 kill game. My Wraith teammate actually does use her portal and her L1 pretty effectively. But anyway, Wraith is all around going to be strong. I'm sure she's still going to be a meta pick. Like I said, sorry about that, guys. Really tired. I can't stop yawning. Crypto's up next. Crypto's drone can now open loot vaults. If Crypto has a key in his inventory, it consumes the key as usual. It'd be really weird if you could just use the drone to open up all the vaults in the game and not actually lose your rate or your vault key. I think they just keep buffing Crypto. He's actually really strong now, I think. He's like really good utility. He can scan ahead a little bit better than Bloodhound can. Plus, he has his EMP, which is a really good engage tool. You can, especially in buildings, if you leave it on like the floor below the enemy and they have the high ground on you, you put it up underneath them, you hit your ultimate as you guys are heading towards the building, zip line up, they pop, and you just mess them up from there. Plus, if your team does happen to die, you can then use the drone to grab their banners, and then you can use the drone as well to revive your teammates at the nearest beacon. All around, Crypto's utility is just through the roof compared to all the other legends, I would say. Honestly, if Wraith wasn't such a big issue with her hitbox and her mobility, I think Crypto would probably not be getting the buffs that he's getting. I think that they're going to end up adjusting him at some point because the reason people don't play him is because he's not fun to play, if that makes sense. People don't want to play a hero where you're spending half the match inside of a drone. They want to play people like Octane or Wraith where you can get into a fight with somebody, L1 out if you need to, or run away if you need to, and then you can stay in the action. Crypto's not like that. Crypto you have to play a bit more strategic with. So I can understand why people don't play him, but honestly, they just keep giving him so much utility. Eventually, it's going to be impossible to ignore him. Loba, increased range of ultimate and passive from 3,100 to 4,500 units. I think this is a big deal because Loba's ultimate right now barely reaches a couple buildings in a lot of the major zones. And with this buff, it should extend way further than what it currently does. So that means that if you have the ultimate, you can actually pull loot from a building rather than having to, go through individually and loot the other half of the buildings that you couldn't pull from before. It's going to save you a lot of time in looting. Not to mention her ultimate really isn't that overpowered to begin with because you can only take 2 things per legend. So I think this is a good change. Loba now starts the match with her ultimate half charged. Another good change. As for the weapon meta, the Devotion, increasing hipfire spread at a base level and also increasing the spread added while firing. The Spitfire, we try to keep the hipfire numbers consistent with similar weapons of the same class, so the hipfire spread on the increase on the Devotion is also being applied to the Spitfire. To compensate, we're reducing the horizontal recoil on the Spitfire. And the triple take, reduced fire rate from 1.4 to 1.3. Let's go ahead and take a look at these real quick. Now the audio is going to be a little off, guys. I apologize. I don't have it calibrated. Okay, let's grab this. We're going to look at the Spitfire first. So without any attachments, I'd say up close the Spitfire is still pretty on point. Where's the Devotion? Boom, 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 boom. Devotion. So without any attachments. So I'm not actually holding the analog stick at all. This is just the normal fire. As you can see, the spray pattern is going straight north. I dropped my... Oh, I dropped it. Let me go back and get it real quick. That was dumb. Thought I swapped guns before I grabbed the thing off the rack. So as you can see, the Spitfire isn't anywhere near as bad as what the Devotion is. Honestly, the Devotion is just a mess. Yeah, the Devotion's just straight up into the sky. So let's go ahead and hop back over on this side. Get our hands on a purple barrel stabilizer and a purple stock, because realistically that's what you're going to come across. You're not going to come across the other too often, gold in that. So this is with a purple and not hitting anything on the analog. As you can see, it's still just a straight mule kick up. If you fight it by a little bit, as you can see now I am fighting the vertical recoil, it's a bit easier actually to hit your target if you hold with the vertical recoil. See, as you can see here, it's pretty easy. You just kind of walk back and forth to offset the horizontal. So the Spitfire with those items, Spitfire doesn't even move. The Spitfire becomes a laser beam still, so it's still pretty good. As you can see with me moving, it's still pretty good hip fire. As for the triple take, let's go ahead and take a quick gander at what we got here for the triple take. That's the Sentinel, by the way. I totally am literate, I swear. So I slowed down the fire rate a little bit. So whereas before you could just spam, as you can see I'm mashing R2 here. Or as you can probably hear, I'm mashing R2 and there's a good couple seconds in between, whereas before it was pretty instant. So pretty big change there. Do keep that in mind when you're using the triple take to spam on people. Let's go ahead and look at the quality of life here. Loot prompts now show how much damage an evil shield has accumulated, so you can make a better decision when switching. So that is the little blue down here. As you can see, this one only requires 40 to level up, I believe. And this one is at 85. You're now able to switch to the same level armor that has less health if it is closer to evolving. Big deal, because if that other armor had more armor, you would normally swap to it and then you couldn't swap back. You'd have to drop your armor in order to pick the other one back up. So big deal there. Loot prompts will now have a small indicator that lets you know if your teammate needs this item so you can ping it. There's the guy waving at us. Performance display is a new option that shows, which I'll just showcase here in a second. Let me just show you guys what this does. So we're going to go into settings here. And then we're going to look here. As you can see, it's on right now. But for some reason it's not showing. I'm guessing that's a bug. Turn it off and then turn it back on. Nope, I'm not getting it to show. For some weird reason. I don't know why. Why is this not showing in the... Anyway, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to actually pop up in the upper right hand corner. And what it shows you is your ping, your latency, your packet loss, your choke, your in and out. If you're noticing issues or you're having issues in game, be sure to turn this on and take a look and see what's going on. If you're having high latency, then that means that there's probably an internet connection issue either with the servers or on your end. Packet loss, same thing, choke and all that. But anyway, as you can see, this is kind of what it looks like. This is a good example here. I will say it will override your kills and your assists, so if you're wanting to see your kills, for some reason it kind of overrides that and it kind of overlaps it. So do keep that in mind. Anonymous mode has been added to the options. Anonymize your name in the champion presentation, obituary, and other locations. So I'm guessing this is like a streamer mode type setting. Level 0 evil armor will now appear as an empty in the inventory, so you can ping it to request some armor. Good change. There are more banners placed around World's Edge to better support Crypto's ability to see nearby squads in his drone. Not really sure what that means, but okay. Big change here for the out of bounds. The timer no longer refreshes back to 30 seconds. Instead, you have only 30 seconds, and it sets, like it's a set timer, to where, let's say you go out of bounds for 10, you go back in bounds, you go back out of bounds, instead of resetting back to 30, you'll actually be stuck with a 20-second timer that will continue to decrease. The maximum refresh you're going to get is 5 seconds. So if you only have 5 seconds left, the timer will keep refreshing to that 5-second mark. I'm guessing this was implemented to prevent characters with vertical movement from abusing the map. I think this is a pretty good change. It's kind of like a nerf to Pathfinder and Loba though. Random favorite selection added for music and load categories. Hollow sprays will now remember what players like them and will display a count to the owner. This also prevents the player from spamming like the Legend tokens have been minimized to a tooltip in the lobby. Hover over your currency to see the amount. Bug fixes. Added the ability to ping the satellite dish at Crypto's map room from the dropship. Gibraltar fixed an issue with his bubble shield looking white in certain conditions. Lifeline fixed an issue with the Guardian Angel skin having a stretched neck when using Sheila, which is Rampart's ultimate. Fixed an issue with care packages not being allowed to be placed on certain parts of capacitor, rig, or salvage in Kings Canyon. Caustic fixed Caustic's barrels from being placed on an angle on shipping crates. Mirage fixed an issue that prevented Mirage's decoys from being pinged, as well as from showing up on Crypto's drones. Could you imagine Crypto like hunting down a Mirage and he tries to bamboozle and it doesn't light up, and it only lights up the actual guy who's playing Mirage? That'd be pretty funny. Octane fixed the visual issue that removed Revenant Shadow from a player after jumping off an Octane jump pad, which is his death realm, or his death, sorry, not death realm, his death totem. My guess is that people would use it, they'd throw it on the totem, then they'd throw it on the jump pad to try to engage, and it would look really weird when you were fighting them and they would just vanish off your screen. Because typically when you're fighting Revenant, or somebody who has death totem on them, they are a darkish color with like orange on them. Fix an issue with the jump pad clipping into the ground on certain areas. Yeah, that's a great fix, because it's so fun throwing your jump pad through the floor. Happened to me a couple times and actually got me killed a couple times. Crypto fixed an issue with his drone not detecting Watson's security fences. That's kind of funny. Fixed an audio issue with survey beacons, sometimes making very little sound when using it as Crypto's drone. Interesting. Fixed an issue with his drone not taking damage from directly below. So the almighty immortal drone is no more. Revenant fixed an issue with the HUD of the replicator staying on the screen when the totem effect wears off. So would you like to buy one of the replicator items? It's going to permanently be on your HUD until the end of time. So enjoy that. No, that's fixed. That's a good fix, honestly, for Revenant. That'd be quite annoying to have constantly sitting up on your screen. Loba fixed inconsistencies with teleporting onto a supply ship. That's actually a really big fix because Loba has a lot of issues with her beacon sometimes not teleporting her. Fixed an issue allowing teleporting into drills around lava fissure. I say that, and now you can. Apparently, you could teleport inside of drills before. Gosh, her teleporting is so inconsistent, huh? Fix an issue preventing teleporting on certain terrain and staging. Rampart. Fix an issue with doors closing when dismounting a place Sheila in a doorway. I kind of wonder what that looks like. Fixed amp cover from floating in the air when placed on a supply ship. Could you imagine using that to try to stay alive and then you just kind of leave it there? Some guy comes over to fight you or whatever and he just looks up in the sky and sees your cover just sitting there. Actually, I wonder if you could use that then to like stand on it and then just kind of sit in the middle of the sky. That'd be pretty funny. Fixed an issue with being able to play Sheila on loot bins. Fixed an issue with DMR, or Longbow DMR, Triple Take, Mastiff, and Sentinel not always receiving the amp cover buff. So this one I was curious about because it seemed like there was times that I would shoot through the amp cover and it wasn't actually giving me the correct damage. And I remember thinking, is this a bug or something, or is this intended? Because I wasn't sure. So what I'm going to do here in a second after we cover the rest of these is actually go over that. That's why I switched to Rampart earlier. Fixed an issue with amp cover being able to be placed at bad angles around the map. Fixed an issue with amp cover, or with the amp cover not being destroyed by the initial blast of charge rifle. Fixed an issue with bullets getting amped before they cross the amp wall from certain angles. L-Star fixed an issue with overheating occurring when firing the weapon in single shot multiple times. So that is the patch notes. If you guys want to stick around here for a second, I'm going to show off the sniper rifle change. So before, I noticed it wasn't doing max damage, so it does 70 normal, 84 to the body, so 168 to the head. Wait, that's actually on par. Hold on. I need to check something after this. 84 to the body, 168 to the head. So it's like capped at 168. Wait, do all sniper rifles do the same damage to the head? No, it does 140. That actually makes sense. So why does it deal the same damage as a triple take through the amp field? Hold on. Unless it's because I had him low, maybe that's why. No, deals 168 to the head. It's a normal headshot. 138. Hit the thing behind it for 70. 140. Yeah, that's a little weird. But they both do 168 to the head. Interesting. I wonder if that's intended. There's like a soft damage cap, so you can't just one-shot somebody with a sniper rifle through it. I want to see what the longbow does with the headshot through that. 165, so it actually does less damage with the skull piercer even. That's wildly interesting. Huh. So you're almost better off not using the longbow at all, really. I mean, I guess it's not bad. Right, triple take again here. Wow, my aim's atrocious. So I guess with the change to the triple take, it makes it harder to get that second follow-up shot, but it's still gonna hit like a truck. And that's with by the way, that was with Skull Piercer on the longbow. What's the normal headshot do? 132. So yeah, it's actually not that good. Interesting. You're almost actually better off going triple take or sentinel if you're gonna snipe through the field. Because that deals 168 and that's 56, and I believe that is 125. 168 plus 50. Let me double check here. That's actually 56. So it's actually 84 to the body, so no, they're just dead. That was just the overflow. Because sniper rifles, when they hit, they don't lose damage based on the dummy's missing health if they headshot, because it's all one shot. I guess they do. What am I talking about? I'm crazy. Never mind, don't listen to me. This whole video is a sham. I'm a fraud. Sorry. But no. That'll one-shot somebody through the wall. You keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure the longbow still takes 2 shots no matter what, though. Actually takes 3 shots no matter what. Headshot, body shot. He lives with 1 HP, so yeah. It's like 198, I believe. And then with a multiplier here, 168. So if you have Skull Piercer, you actually will one-shot them or 2-shot them. That is good to know. So hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. The next video that I do, well, actually before I get into that, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like the video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm because I do cover a multitude of games. It makes it really hard for me to get these videos into your guys' sub box because I'm covering, like I said, a multitude of games. So if you like the video, it helps me get my video out there, and I greatly appreciate it. I won't ask you to sub if you don't enjoy the content, but if you enjoyed this particular video or you learned something, I will ask you to like the video at least. Anyway, like I was going to say, the next video is going to be a Twitch VOD. It's going to be a game where I had 11 kills. So the language in it might be a little bit more explicit than what I normally use on the channel. I apologize for that. It's just I tend to be a bit more explicit on Twitch. It's more of a competitive habit of mine. It's one of my tics, I guess, if you will, where I just can't help it. I don't even recognize what I'm saying sometimes. It's nothing like over the top. It's more just swearing. So if you're not a fan of that, do keep in mind the next video will have some minor swearing in it. But it's still a good game to watch. It's still an 11 kill game, so if you just want to turn the audio off and just watch the gameplay itself, it's still pretty good. So do check that out. I'll also be on Twitch throughout the week as well, like I always am. I'm gonna plug the Twitch here. If you guys ever want to come talk to me about Apex, I always encourage everybody on like every other game video that I do, like League of Legends or World of Warcraft. If you guys ever want to come hang out with me on Twitch, there's links always in the description for you guys. Be sure to follow. I'm live pretty much, like I said, every day. I usually try to do 3 to 8 hours depending on what I'm doing throughout the day. If I'm doing a bunch of YouTube videos, then it's probably going to be like a 3-hour day, obviously. There's just not enough time in the day to do 8 hours and do 2 YouTube videos. But like I was saying, I encourage you guys to come in, start a dialogue with me. If you have any questions about Apex, I can answer them. Even if I'm not playing Apex or I'm playing Fall Guys like I will be this Thursday when the new season drops, be sure to come in and just ask me. Just hang out, you know? It's a fun time. I'm not going to yell at anybody. I'm not going to get upset. You're all entitled to your opinions for like whatever gun you guys think are going to, or whatever gun you guys think are going to be good, or whatever legend you guys think are going to be good, or whatever I'm playing. You guys are entitled to your opinion. Feel free to come in here and make fun of me. Anyway, that's what Twitch is there for. Twitch is there for me to entertain you guys. If you guys have fun watching me make mistakes, then I'm all for it. thanks for watching. I will see you guys technically on the video after the next, because the next video is just going to be a VOD, so it won't be in real time, sadly. Not sure what that's going to be yet. It may be actually a Fall Guys Season 2 video for Thursday. Maybe I'll do another VOD. I do apologize as well for the delay in the audio. I didn't have the Elgato set up for this, and it takes a lot of time. I'd constantly have to be going back in and setting my ping or my mic delay, and I just don't want to do that. Like I said, it's 10:30 at night. I just want to get the video done. So the next time I do a patch notes video where I use the Elgato, I will try to make the delay not an issue, non-existent. Probably have to use Lightworks for that, honestly. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. I'm going to stop rambling.